Hey everybody, Tyler here, back down at the XM showroom today and shooting a little bit of video for Rad Titan. And we've got the new classic Bane up here for the DC line. We already have the Superman, we already have the Batman and the Wonder Woman, and now we're getting into some villains, starting with Bane. We'll get in close for some shots here in a moment, but just noting that of course this one comes as both a quarter scale as well as the 1/6 scale. There's the 1/6 scale right beside it. Step back a moment so you can see in terms of scaling. Obviously the 1/6 is a lot smaller than the 1/4 scale. Switch outs are the same. Face sculpts, the portraits, you get 2 for each. You get 2 right arms, one with the cowl, one without. Take a look at those other arms as well. And let's just get in here on the quarter scale first. Try to get it a little bit closer on this one. This is the Screaming portrait. Now the lights in the studio are bright, a little bit harsh, sometimes not always easy to get accurate kind of color representation for some of these pieces, but we'll do our best. And so on his mask here, I don't know if it really shows up. Might show up a little bit. You can see a little bit of those kind of bluish, purplish tinges, highlights in the mask. And I was talking to the folks here at XM tonight, and they have said that the color of the hoses here is going to change. It's a bit too pale at the moment. It's a bit too yellow, not green enough, not as kind of fluorescent or vibrant enough. And so that is going to change. So don't worry about the color here. I think if you remember the Bane from the Samurai line, how nice and bright the fluid was in those tubes, I think it's what we can probably expect here on the finished product. All the veins coming through here in his arms look really good, really obvious. Hair in his arms there. Gonna come down. Nice stitching on these elbow pads, buckles on his boots. Got some wear and tear and scrapes on his boots there as well. If I can get that zoomed in well. Get a clear photo, clear picture. And he's got the cell door there on the back. Come around the other side so you can get a better image of that. Looks like he's got maybe a used canister down here on the base. Lots of rebar. Can't have a statue base without rebar. It's nice color shading and different colors of the brickwork here on the bottom. Some lighter colors and some darker browns. That cell door is all mangled. Guess he's busting out of Arkham. I'm not a DC guy, remember, so apologies if I'm getting something screwed up. He's got some nice folds in his pants. Looks pretty good. Again, he's got some lighter colored highlights in his pants there. Blues, purples. Belt looks good. And musculature is really detailed, really carved out, especially in that chest area. Again, the lights are making the skin a bit more pinkish, I guess, than it really is if I'm looking at it here on the screen. Get those studs on the knuckles there. And then if we look at the other portrait, right here, this is the full mask, so you're not seeing the mouth. And the tubes and everything go in the back here, so when you switch out that portrait, you've got to unhook all the tubes there in the back and then put them back in. They're really easy to come out and put back in, of course, not an issue. And then the right arm comes out here along the seam. So that whole arm comes out. And then this is the other arm here. Yeah, so that whole arm goes in there at the shoulder. I'll put it down so you can see it better. Okay, so this one is not holding the cowl. If we just look at the cowl for a minute, looks pretty good. Of course, depicting the infamous Bane defeating Batman, of course. And he's ripped the cowl off. I guess we're assuming Batman's been beaten to shit. Trying to get a better zoom in on that. Looks pretty good. You can see the fingers, Bane's fingers, as he's holding on tight to that cowl. This looks pretty cool. You can see some of those highlights of the blues and the purples a little better here on the back, the way the lighting is. Probably coming through. It looks a little more pronounced actually on my screen than it actually is. The screen and the way that the light's hitting with the lens makes those highlights look brighter than they actually are. They're not actually that bright. But they are noticeable, just more subtle. I think the still photos probably do better justice than the camera with the video at this point here in the showroom. So take a look and check out the still photos. All right, there's the little portrait for the 1/6. There. So these are up for PO now. The quarter scale is up for $13.99 Singapore dollars, and the 1/6 scale is up for $8.99 Singapore dollars. That's the advanced pre-order. And just as a reminder, we'll head over here to Classic Batman. And this is the line that we're pairing with. Classic Batman there. Classic Soups. And Wonder Woman with her new portrait. All right, guys, let us know what you think. Cheers.